In this video, we're going to look at 3 different web or internet-based interfaces being utilized by shops. We have connections directly with these interfaces, providing real-time inventory lookups when a customer is searching for a part or placing an order. You can reference our Open Webs video highlighting what a customer can do in the form of checking for parts, ordering, and making payments within our own system. In this video, we're going to look at the interfaces of Epicore, PartsTech, and Nexpart. Customers can do those same stock checks and parts lookups, as well as ordering, just like our open web system. They, however, cannot make a payment or view or check on our invoices like our open web system. The one advantage these interfaces have is nearly every shop management system will integrate with at least one of these systems, so customers can view and order parts directly through their shop management system. You've maybe heard of the shop management system or softwares like Mitchell One, TechMetric, EasyRO, RO Writer, Protractor, Shop Boss, Shop Monkey, All Data, and many, many more. Nearly all shop management systems can integrate with one of these interfaces, and many can do with more than one of them, giving shops options. Here's just some of them that are showing up that PartsTech can, that I didn't mention that PartsTech can also integrate with. If we look over here, here's some of them that Nexpart for shop management softwares. This video serves as an informational video just to give you a glimpse at the product. So if a shop asks about integration or mentions one of the products, you can recognize them and have a general idea what the shop is referring to. This is not meant for you to provide technical assistance to the shop, but I think you will see that most of them are pretty user-friendly. Most of the shop management systems or softwares provide documentation or videos on how to set up these interfaces within their own system. Our IT and Open Webs teams provide documents and tips if available to our customers as well when they request an integration. The first interface we're going to look at is Epicore. Now, each of these interfaces, what I'm going to show you is like the standalone product. Remember that these all integrate with shop management systems, and the shop management system would basically be popping up a window that would show pretty much the same as what you're seeing on the standalone system. So if I was in my shop management system, or I was just using the standalone for Epicore, once I was logged in, and again, integrated with the shop management system, these logins would all be generated automatically, so all the shop would be doing is clicking on parts. Also goes to the year, make, and model of the vehicle. If we want to enter one in, we can do that. Or a shop management system is actually going to enter in the vehicle for you because you've already decoded the VIN, or you've gone through the VIN process with the vehicle. But if in our example here, I was looking for a 2010 Ford Taurus, you'd see that the Ford Taurus comes up here. I next go to begin, and I'm looking for exhaust and exhaust parts and catalytic converter. And I'm going to go to parts list. Now, if my shop management system had already determined that I was looking for a catalytic converter, it would already populate the parts in there, the year, make, model, vehicle, and any other options such as an engine code or size of an engine, and it would just bring you directly to this screen. So what I had showed you with looking up the year, make, model, and then going through the parts, that is what you're going to see on a standalone, but a lot of the shop management systems do that work for you. That's part of the integration. So here it's going to show you the parts, and as it looked at our inventory on our system, it's telling you that I have one available in Sioux Falls. It'll also look at some neighboring offices out there and look to see if any of the neighboring offices has them as well. From here, I can click on the part and get a little better picture, maybe a little more description, much like you've seen in our open web system or any catalog that you're looking at will give you a little more information as to what you're doing. From here, if a shop wanted to order the part, it's as simple as, yep, this is the part I'm looking for. I want to click it here. I want to add it to my quote. And then we can actually do a send the order. And this will go directly back to our system. It's going to process just like a open web's order, and you're going to see a suspend that comes out so that you can change it into a pick note and process the order for the person or shop. The Epicore system, you'll note, just has us. So anytime we're using an Epicore interface, they will not see any other suppliers out there. This is a standalone system that only shows one inventory at a time. This is the basics of the Epicore system. We'll move into other systems that have different features so that you can kind of see all of them out there. The next interface or product that we're going to look at is PartsTech. PartsTech is probably our number one interface that is being utilized by shops out there currently. They are a newer company than the other two, but seem to be up and coming, and a lot of shops seem to like them. With PartsTech, much like Epicore, you can look up year, make, model. You can look up parts by part number, uh, items like that. Also with PartsTech though, I can put in multiple suppliers. If I go over to my suppliers, you'll see that I have Team Allied and TBA that I've put in here on a demo situation. The one thing about PartsTech, if you ever hear a customer that says, I tried to put you in PartsTech, but you're not available. What PartsTech should be doing is going out and looking for all your suppliers in the area to where you can add. However, PartsTech is meant for more of a local, and I would say Nexpart as well. It's meant for more of a local environment or a less than 50-mile radius. Now, most of our warehouses uh, deliver beyond that 50-mile radius. So sometimes we don't show up on the default looking. So let's say I was in Nashville, Tennessee. My shop home zip code was 37011 in Nashville. If that was already how I was set up on my PartsTech account, and I look down here and say Indianapolis does deliver to Nashville, or one of our offices does, and they'll look down here and they'll say, I don't find Team Allied distribution. You're nowhere to be found. So what I tell them, the little trick is just go up to your zip code that you're looking for and actually put in the zip code of the office that you are, our Indianapolis zip code. Now, if I go down here, I'm going to see Team Allied distribution show up. PartsTech account, for the most part, is free out there. I think they do offer some extended packages that can do some different level things, but there is a free account out there for shops as well. They set up the PartsTech account on their own, and then they link us as a supplier to their existing PartsTech account. Linking is very easy. You find Team Allied distribution, you click on add, you enter in the same exact credentials that we use on our open web platform, the user account number and their password, and it will add it and put them as approved over here. Once you have your suppliers added in PartsTech, it's as easy as going back. You can select your year, make, model. Again, if this was imported in through a shop management system, it would probably already have my year, make, model in there. Might even have the part that I'm already looking for if I'm looking for a converter or a manifold or something of that nature. For our example, I'm just going to go down here and select a 2010 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. It is an LS with a 5.3. Now here you'll see that we have different ways that we can look it up. If I know the part number, I can enter the part number in here. If I want to go look at vehicle diagrams, I can go to exhaust. I can look at some of those same diagrams that we utilize. AP diagram, Walker diagram, or a generic catalytic converters and exhaust diagram that's out there. I can also go to categories. I can look up exhaust. I can look up exhaust components, manifolds, whatever I might be looking there. For this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exhaust mufflers. Muffler, we'll just do one. Now the system is actually going out there. It's looking on our as a supplier for us. It's looking for us. It's also looking for any other suppliers that we might have. It's going to tell you how many it's found out there. We can go down and look and see all the mufflers that it has found that indicate a possible or match to the year, make, and model vehicle that we have selected out there. If we get to a muffler that we want to see more information about, you can look at stock. It'll tell you how many. For this example, I have our home store as Sioux Falls out there, but if the customer's home store was Indianapolis or Montebello or Mesa, Arizona, it would show them first in the list. We click on the drop down box, it's actually going to show you what's out there for all of our inventory throughout Team Allied. I go back up to the top. If another supplier had anything, I could click on them. As you can see, they don't. So if we're looking up some type of part that maybe another supplier does have for us, looking up just a generic, say, exhaust gasket, now it's going to go out there and it's going to look at what another supplier might have. Same scenario there. It's going to tell you, what they have, where it's at, how many they have, the cost that's there. We can go to our Team Allied. It's going to show us what is available through Team Allied along with cost. From here, if I wanted to order it, it's as easy as adding it to the cart. Now, because we're in demo mode here, it's not going to allow me to actually place an order. I can put it in the cart. It's going to say there's an error, but customers aren't going to see that. It's just going to say, yep, it's in your cart. If they want to add a PO number or some type of information to it, and they can just click on the buy it now, it's going to process it through our open webs, and you're going to receive that suspend to go ahead and fulfill it for the order out there for the customer. So that's generally what we're looking at for PartsTech out there. PartsTech, remember, not only can you see our information, but if they have multiple suppliers in there, it's as easy as clicking on the top box to see how many ever suppliers that they have set up, to see what they have for inventory as well, along with pricing. The last interface or product that we're going to look at today is Nexpart. Well, we've seen that Epicore will provide a one supplier look at inventory and pricing, and we've seen that PartsTech will supply multiple suppliers out there. Nexpart can do either. It can be set up as a standalone, one supplier, just like we've seen with Epicore, where it is only looking at one supplier at a time. It can also be set up like PartsTech, where you can see multiple suppliers out there. If I'm logged into my Nexpart account, again, much like PartsTech, the shop would set up their own Nexpart account out there, or if they reach out to us and don't have a Nexpart account, we can actually set up a Nexpart account for them for the standalone one supplier type of lookup. So if I was looking here, Nexpart will ask you which zip code you want to look for versus PartsTech taking your default one. If I'm looking for a zip code, it's going to pull up the area, and again, it's going to show all the suppliers that I can connect to in that area. You'll see that Team Allied Distribution is one that we're already connected to. We also have two others for this demo that we've connected so that you can see that. If I go into my catalog, again, whether it's multi-seller or we're just looking at a multi-seller, means that it's looking at multiple suppliers out there, versus if it was a standalone or single, it wouldn't have a multi-seller catalog. It would just say catalog, and you would see the same thing that we're looking here. So again, much like the other ones, we're dealing with year, make, model. Could be already imported automatically from your shop management system if you had one out there or you were using it. Or again, with PartsTech, Epicore, Nexpart, you can utilize these as standalone, and some shops do, is that they just use them for ordering their parts outside of their actual shop management, or if they don't have a shop management system and they still want to use something to look up parts with from multiple suppliers, they can just create a Nexpart or a PartsTech account and do it that way. Here I'm going to select a 3.5 liter Taurus SE. Now again, much the same. I can go to categories, groupings, can see what's out there. I can do exhaust parts, catalytic converter. It had diagrams on there if I wanted to go back and look at exhaust and diagrams. I'm just looking for a catalytic converter, and I choose the one part I'm looking for, catalytic converter, display parts, and it's actually going to go out there and look through all three of my suppliers that I have set up. You'll see that this can take a little bit as it's trying to search for all the suppliers out there, but if you calculate out what it takes to call each one individually, then you're going to see that this is probably still quicker. We're talking a few seconds versus having to pick up the phone, start a conversation, year, make, model with each one of your suppliers. Now you'll note when I'm looking for something up here on the top, again, it shows you one supplier didn't have anything. One supplier had 9 parts. Our Team Allied distribution had 21 parts. If I want to look at the suppliers individually, I can just click on the supplier, much like PartsTech, where I could actually see what each supplier had out there. I'm looking at Team Allied. I can look at it this way. Again, it's much like PartsTech in our open webs. If you click on a part that says, hey, there's none available, I can click down the drop down box, see if anybody's got any. Looks like we have one in Houston, one in Arlington. You can continue on through all of them down here to see, hey, my home branch of Sioux Falls actually has one located. And then I can see what else is out there as well. This is looking at alternatives based off of the one part that was looked up. If I want to buy the part, I can simply, if it's available, I can click on add to cart. It's going to process it just like you've seen through the open webs, going to push out a suspend for us that way. Now, the one thing that Nexpart does do that is a little bit different than the other two is it has this multi-seller. If you have suppliers out there that have gone through the setup with Nexpart for multi-seller, it's going to combine them. So you'll see one of our suppliers actually does not have any Nexpart enabled because it does not have the Nexpart enabled underneath them. Team Allied distribution is Nexpart multi-seller enabled. If I click on that, that's actually going to put the parts from both the suppliers that have parts together. So once I arrow down, I will not only see Team Allied out there, I'll also see the other supplier that may have parts available or does have parts available. Now the key to this on the multi-seller part is, what can a shop do? They can go here and search for price, low to high, high to low. Not only looking for the best match, if they're looking for a different pricing range or they're looking for what fills in their pricing range, they can actually search multiple suppliers and set that I want to look for low to high part pricing, and it's going to recategorize the parts based off of parts pricing. So in my demo here, we've just got it set up so that it's looking at Team Allied first, and then if I arrow down, it's going to look at the next supplier that's in there, and so on and so forth. If I look up a part that all three of them have, just to give you an idea, if there's a third one that's out there, and I think this supplier here, I need to go to like a radiator or something like that I'll actually do an exhaust gasket. Let's set up a Ford Taurus again. I believe this will yield us some results from all three. You'll just still see the differences is that Team Allied distribution and one other does have the multi-seller. This will show actually our third one doesn't have anything for that part as well. But the same thing can happen. I can then do search for pricing, and then all of a sudden you'll see, different pricing that's out there, based off of what was set up between, your pricing templates and your customers that are out there. Let's just try one more, try to give you an idea what we're dealing with. If a third one comes up, we're going to do an exhaust, do individual exhaust parts, and we're going to do an exhaust gasket again. Do a manifold gasket. Oh, we only got one there. Pause that. And we will try one more here to see if I can get parts from everybody. If I just do, let's do an exhaust pipe. Allow it to search all three inventories. And here you'll find, yes, so there's 6 parts Team Allied, 13 parts for one of the other suppliers, 2 parts for the third supplier. Now, again, if I'm looking at the multi-seller part that includes them all, you're going to find that we only see 2 suppliers in here. We're going to have the 6 parts from Team Allied, the 13 for 19. Whereas this supplier does have parts, but they're not located in the multi-seller, so you can only see them by clicking on their individual out there. So this is, again, just a brief look at Nexpart, PartsTech, Epicore, just to give you a little bit of an idea what the customers are seeing out there. A lot of it's the same. A lot of catalogs have the same basic build out there, year, make, model. Goes through what the parts are looking for. Again, it doesn't matter whether they're in Epicore, PartsTech, or Nexpart. If they add it to their cart and they create a sale, with them being linked into us directly, it will create a suspend just like it's coming off of our internal website as well, so that we can move it to a pick note and we can fulfill the order for the customer out there. For a shop that already has an account with Team Allied Distribution, to request information or to get them started on the process is as easy as going to our website, team-allied.com/SMS. It gives them a few questions that they can fill out, asking about the system that they're trying to integrate with, and we can process that, get them the information that they need. Any new customers to Team Allied, it's already built into the application when they're filling that out to ask them if they are looking to integrate with any shop management systems and which ones, similar to the questions right here on this that we're looking at as well. Also keep in mind is, while I said that a lot of times the shop management systems, will pop up a small window, look exactly the same. Some shop management systems will do a little bit different. They might just pull in the inventory or the availability, and they might display it a little bit differently in their system. So to think that every customer is going to see exactly what you've seen, it might be a little different from one to another. But as you've seen, the cataloging, the year, make, model, all those basic concepts are still the same there, that are very similar between the systems. So for the most part, the experience that you had seen, or the demo that you had seen with us today, is going to be very similar to what the customer is going to see as well. So, wrapping up this video with the growing popularity of internet web interfaces and shop management systems or softwares for looking up and processing orders, it's important to know Team Ally Distribution is right there with regional and national suppliers. We can offer our customers that same exact experience. The one thing that typical cataloging systems utilized by all three of these interfaces that we looked at today, the one thing that they fall a little short on is when it comes to customization, performance, and out of the ordinary applications. We still rely heavily on our parts experts at Team Allied Distribution to find solutions for our customers, as well as review those suspends when they come in for any application issues or any chances to upsell, or using your experience to know that maybe a O2 sensor or a hanger is highly recommended, that we can still reach out to the customer and see if that's still an item that we should add on to the order. If a customer has any questions about our integrations or what we can do, by all means, you can have them reach out to our Open Webs team or our IT team. But generally speaking, if they go to the team-allied.com /SMS, and they fill out the information on there, we can provide them some type of documentation or a path that they can get them our inventory integrated into their system. Generally speaking, pretty user friendly. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.